Say what you will about the movie, but that marketing was just genius. Hey guys, it's G from the F Word here to review Cloverfield Paradox, the new Cloverfield movie, part of the franchise that I don't know is not a prequel, but I feel it's a prequel, and I'm really confused as to where this kind of fits into everything, and maybe they were just better off just saying it's a prequel. So you've got people in space that are trying to solve the energy crisis by harnessing energy into this thing to help power the rest of the world. This thing goes haywire and opens up this door kind of thing that leads them into some other dimension. They end up losing Earth for a time. They're in this other dimension and they're trying to get themselves back to Earth. They just lost it. For all they know, they blew up the Earth and they have no idea how to fix it, what's going on. They find a lady who was on another spaceship type of thing in their electrical system somehow. She's got wires and stuff in here. They just open this thing up and she's in really rough shape. And she's explaining that worlds are colliding. George Costanza, I'm looking at you. Worlds are colliding and it's not a good thing because two, obviously, dimensions cannot coexist in one little box. Or, you have some pretty crazy repercussions. And all the while, the dude from Blade, who's also in Gotham, is like, I don't know what's going to happen if this thing happens. I don't agree with what they're doing. We could be getting demons and monsters and everything like that. So they kind of have a reference to Cloverfield. However, it's a very small reference, and I think there's only like one of two references that are in here, which again leads me to think more that this is a prequel versus anything else. And so they're trying to figure out how to fix this whole thing. That's pretty much the crux of this movie. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat, the cast is really good for something that no one expected to come out right away, especially the way that they did it. I mean, like I said, that marketing is genius. To release the trailer during Super Bowl to say, hey, by the way, you can watch us right after is just, whoever thought of that needs to get a raise. This is awesome. They kind of did something similar with 10 Cloverfield Lane where we didn't know what was going on and then we realized, holy crap, it's a Cloverfield movie and it looks awesome. And that one was awesome. Personally, it's my favorite like from that and Cloverfield. This one is not really. So I thought that was really cool. The cast was really good, and for a cast this big to not know anything about it, also really cool. You don't really get that. It's kind of a game changer, if you will, for the way that we're going to be getting movies and TV and how they can market things and be able to do stuff like this. Visually looked really good too. You could tell they definitely put some money into it. Stuff in the space station, the tools that they were using, the way it looked, the feeling of it, it had a pretty decent tone, even consistent tone throughout too, giving you kind of a sci-fi thriller. There was a very small horror aspect in it. They do pull from a lot of movies. There's one scene that reminds you of Gravity. There's a scene that reminds you of Interstellar. There is a scene that kind of reminds you of Life. And so they have a lot of those in here. As you're watching, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I've seen this before, but it's still there. It's not a bad thing. Movies pull from other movies all the time. So that's really, don't consider that an argument for this being negative. However, so to have a cast this good and to have it feel kind of flat really bothers me because I'm a big fan of Daniel Bruhl. I'm a big fan of Zhang Ziyi. I like Chris O'Dowd. I like David Oyelowo. These are good actors. They have good actors in here. And unfortunately, the script and the writing didn't help these guys. I feel they were working with what they had as best as they could. And that's unfortunate. Like I said, with a cast like this, you expect something a lot better. One thing that I think really ties all of my negatives together is at one point Chris O'Dowd, who gets his arm cut off and is freaking out at one point and then fine and cracking jokes kind of or being sarcastic in another scene shortly after, is sitting there and saying, I don't know the rules anymore. And I think that's my biggest thing. I didn't know the rules to the game that they were presenting. They said a lot of stuff, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world when it comes to paradoxes and things in space and everything like that. But at least when a movie is able to explain it, and you can still understand it if it explains it well. Even Interstellar, which is really out there, I understood and I got the rules of the game. This didn't really give us any rules. It didn't really give us much. They just said things and they didn't really conclude them in any way. There was no resolution to anything. It's just, this is going to happen and that's it. Have fun, have at her. This is the world that you live in right now. Congratulations, you lost your arm. And so that was my biggest thing. There's a couple other things that to me really, outside of the script and the writing, ties everything together where if I'm really wondering what's going on, Chris O'Dowd said it for me. And I don't know why they wouldn't just present this thing as a prequel. So at least we could eventually learn the rules in some way later on, or at least have something to lead us into Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane in a more cohesive way. It was messy. A lot of the relationships that were there, the good and the bad ones, felt all unwarranted and unearned. If you've seen my reviews, you know that I do have an issue with unearned moments. So unearned moments mixed with a lack of rules of this game and just, we're just going to do things for the sake of doing things, didn't really help me enjoy this much. So I would say, if you've invested time in the Cloverfield movies, you don't have to wait for me to tell you that you're going to see this. This is a spoiler review. It's got spoilers in it, so you've already seen it. Come up with your own thoughts. I wish they would have just presented this as, here's a prequel to everything. Explain some more things, give us the rules, and really give these characters something better to work with than what they had. And I think those things could have helped make this a much better movie. I won't say it's like, I've seen people say it's crap and it's awful. I wouldn't put it there. I would just say it's fine. It's okay. It's not anything that you've got to rush out to see. And even if you have seen the Cloverfield movies, I didn't need to see one for a guy that's seen both of them and that likes the first two. And at the same time, if they decide to jump off this and do one more or another one, I still wouldn't mind seeing more. This isn't going to stop me from liking the Cloverfield movie. So, Cloverfield Paradox. If you're here watching spoilers, you've already seen it. Let me know what your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Did you like it? If you like it, that's awesome. Anytime that you like something, even if everybody else doesn't like it, you've got some enjoyments. That is perfect. That is fine. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. There's a ton of movies that are horrible that I love that other people just do not like. And I am not changing my mind for anything. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. Let me know which of the Cloverfield movies you like the most. Again, mine is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Make sure you hit that subscribe and that like button for more content and more reviews. You can find me on Twitter at @TheFWordsG. You can email us at thefwordpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you're following Entertain Facts to get in on our live show, live Q&A, and a lot of other content that we have on there. Until next time, everybody, I'm G and I am out.